Hold on to your tiaras, folks, because we're about to dive into the most explosive royal story that everyone's talking about, but nobody wants to say out loud. Prince William, yes, the future King of England, the man who's supposed to embody grace, tradition, and royal decorum, has just been outed as a pretty demanding boss who's causing absolute chaos behind palace doors. And before you think this is just another fluffy royal story about someone being ambitious or passionate, let me stop you right there. This is about a royal revolution brewing in real time, complete with staff shakeups, family power struggles, and a complete dismantling of centuries-old traditions. The staff at the Duchy of Cornwall just spilled some absolutely tea about their future king, and honey, it is scalding. The revelation. So picture this. The Telegraph recently tagged along with Prince William on one of his private visits to the Duchy of Cornwall. You know, that billion-dollar estate he inherited when Daddy became king. They thought they were getting a nice little puff piece about the caring future monarch visiting his properties. Instead, they got front-row seats to what might be the biggest personality reveal in royal history. According to the Duchy's secretary, Will Bax, Prince William is pretty demanding in a great and ambitious way. Estate director Ben Murphy revealed that William has a healthy impatience, as his father did. But here's the kicker. This impatience puts the wind in our sails. He really cares. Now, if you're thinking, oh, that sounds lovely, a passionate prince who cares about results, let me just remind you that we're talking about the British royal family. These people don't do demanding. They do gracious suggestions and gentle guidance, while someone else handles the actual work. But not our William. Oh no, he's out here being described as a man on a mission who's asking us to change and evolve in a way to deliver positive impact at scale and at pace. At scale and at pace. Do you hear that? That's the sound of centuries of royal tradition being steamrolled by a future king who's apparently had enough. The pattern emerges. Remember work-shy William? The prince who was criticized for not putting in enough royal hours? The man who had to publicly reject criticism that he doesn't carry out enough royal duties? Yeah, well, it looks like he heard every single word of that criticism, and now he's overcompensating in the most spectacular way possible. Royal expert Ed Owens explained it perfectly. William has sometimes been seen as work-shy, but we see him gravitating toward bigger, more media-friendly events. He's burnishing his reputation as a statesman. Burnishing his reputation. Translation: William is done being called lazy, and he's about to show everyone exactly what a motivated future king looks like. Spoiler alert, it involves being demanding enough that your own staff are giving interviews about it. The modern royal revolution. But here's where this story gets absolutely wild. Because William isn't just being demanding about traditional royal duties. Oh no, he's completely revolutionizing how the royal family operates. Rural Director Matthew Morris revealed that employees no longer feel the need to put on a tie when the Duke of Cornwall is in town, which contrasts sharply with the formal approach during King Charles's visits. Wait. Let me get this straight. William is so demanding that he's making staff work harder, but he's also telling them they don't need to wear ties? He's communicating with the estate's more than 150 staff via WhatsApp and asking questions over social media to keep updated? This man is running the Duchy of Cornwall like it's a tech startup, and I am here for this chaos. But it gets better. He has encouraged open dialogue, telling staff to please give everyone proper authority to say what's really going on, not being polite because I'm in the room ahead of meetings. Can you imagine being a centuries-old institution and having your future boss roll up saying, actually, forget all that polite royal nonsense. Just tell me the truth? The audacity, the absolute revolutionary spirit, the family power struggle. Now let's talk about what's really happening here, because this demanding behavior isn't occurring in a vacuum. King Charles and Prince William have differing stances on Prince Andrew's involvement with the royal family, with experts stating William will ban his uncle. Former BBC royal correspondent Jenny Bond explained, I think William is harder about this and perhaps more willing to take a tough stand against his uncle. She added that William seems determined to protect the monarchy and show that they do all understand the strength of public animosity towards Andrew. So while King Charles is playing the diplomatic older brother, William is basically saying, nope, Uncle Andrew is out. William is increasingly a power player in the family dynamics, and while Charles can perhaps show a softer attitude, I don't think William will ever countenance a return to any form of public role for Prince Andrew, Bond continued. A power player in family dynamics. This is palace intrigue at its finest, people. The radical departure plan, but wait, because we're just getting started with William's master plan to revolutionize the monarchy. When Prince William takes the throne someday, it will be in many aspects a radical departure from the reign of his father, King Charles. Royal editor Kate Mansi revealed that William wants to veer away from shaking some hands in favor of making a real difference, calling it quite a radical departure, really, from what the king does, or what the late queen did. Let me just pause here for a moment. The future King of England just basically said that the traditional royal approach of showing up, shaking hands, and cutting ribbons is not enough. He wants to make an actual difference. The shade, the absolute dismissal of centuries of royal protocol. This man really said, thanks, Gran and Dad, but your approach is outdated and I'm going to do better. And here's the part that will make your jaw drop. William Hague said, he's not one for long meetings or going around the same thing again. I've often heard him say, there's been too much talk about that. We need to see some action. Too much talk. We need action. Do you understand what's happening here? William is basically saying that the entire royal establishment talks too much and doesn't do enough. He's calling out the entire system while he's still the heir, not even the king yet, the WhatsApp king. Now let's talk about the specific ways William is being demanding, because honestly, it's both hilarious and revolutionary. This man is running royal business through WhatsApp. WhatsApp. William communicates with the estate's more than 150 staff via WhatsApp and asks questions over social media to keep updated. Can you imagine King George V rolling over in his grave at the thought of royal business being conducted through emojis and voice messages? William is probably sending voice notes like, hey, what's the update on the sustainable farming initiative? Need answers by end of day. Cheers. William is out here conducting royal business in jeans and trainers while telling his staff to relax about the ties. He's basically the cool boss who brings pizza to team meetings while still expecting you to hit all your deadlines. The Harry connection. Now here's where this gets really interesting, and I need you to lean in because this connection is about to blow your mind. A GB News discussion highlighted that this description of William being demanding by Duchy of Cornwall staff led host Dawn Neeson to suggest this lends credence to Prince Harry's claims in his memoir Spare. Dawn commented, he has been branded pretty demanding. That makes you think maybe some of the things Prince Harry wrote in Spare weren't far from the truth. Oh my God, do you see what's happening here? Harry's been trying to tell us about William's personality for years, and now we're getting confirmation from royal staff that, yes, William can indeed be demanding and difficult to work with. Remember all those stories in Spare about William being controlling and having a temper? About him being rigid and unwilling to compromise? Suddenly those don't sound like bitter brother accusations. They sound like character observations from someone who knew William better than anyone. The vindication must be killing Harry right now. He's probably somewhere in California like, I told you so. The strategic brilliance. But here's the thing that's absolutely genius about William's approach. He's being demanding in all the right ways that make him look good publicly while completely revolutionizing the institution from within. William told Sky News, I can only describe what I'm trying to do, and that's trying to do it differently, and I'm trying to do it for my generation. I'm doing it with maybe a smaller R in the royal, if you like, that's maybe a better way of saying it. A smaller R in royal. This man is literally diminishing the importance of the title while maintaining all the power and influence. It's political genius disguised as humility. And of course, British tabloids offered positive coverage, with the Mirror describing William's comments as a huge royal shakeup and the Sun splashing, monarchy with empathy. He's getting praise for basically dismantling everything his family has stood for. The media is calling it empathy when it's actually revolution. The Diana reboot. And here's the piece that ties everything together. Prince William is aiming for a Diana reboot of the monarchy when he becomes king. William wants to modernize the monarchy while combining elements of his mother's and late grandmother's philosophies on duties. He's literally taking the best of Diana's emotional intelligence and connection with people, mixing it with Elizabeth's sense of duty, and creating something entirely new. But unlike his mother, who had to fight the institution from within while being constantly undermined, William is the institution. He gets to demand changes because he's literally going to be in charge someday. Diana had to rebel against the royal family. William gets to be the royal family, just the version he wants to create. The legal revolution. Here's a detail that most people missed but is absolutely crucial to understanding what's really happening. In April, William dropped King Charles's longtime legal team, Harbottle and Lewis, and its partner, Gerard Tyrrell, with whom he had worked since becoming an adult. He is now represented by Mishcon de Rea, the legal firm his mother used in her 1996 divorce from his father. William hired his mother's divorce lawyers, the same legal team that represented Diana when she was fighting Charles and the royal establishment. If that's not the most symbolic middle finger to his father and the traditional royal system, I don't know what is. He's literally assembling Diana's old legal dream team for his own royal revolution. The move is reportedly one of William's many efforts to separate himself from his father. Separate himself from his father. This isn't just about being a demanding boss. This is about William systematically dismantling his connection to Charles's way of doing things and rebuilding everything from scratch using his mother's playbook. The generational warfare. What we're witnessing is the most sophisticated generational takeover in royal history. William isn't waiting to become king to implement his changes. He's doing it now, while Charles is still on the throne, using his demanding personality as the perfect cover. Former BBC royal correspondent Jenny Bond said, "Clearly, William is doing something very right. His informal, approachable way of going about his work is resonating with the public. He's dismantling the mystique of royalty while maintaining its power. That's not just demanding, that's revolutionary genius." The power play. Let's be absolutely clear about what's happening here. After King Charles was diagnosed with cancer last year, William is already acting like he's in charge. He's demanding changes, implementing new policies, revolutionizing communication methods, hiring new legal teams, and basically running a parallel royal operation that's more popular, more modern, and more effective than his father's. William doesn't need Charles to abdicate. He's already taken over in everything but name. And the beautiful part? He's doing it all under the guise of being demanding and ambitious for positive change. Who's going to argue with a future king who wants to help homeless people and protect the environment more effectively? The ultimate truth. Here's what I think is really happening behind those palace doors. William looked at the mess his family has created over the past few years. The Andrew scandal, the Harry and Meghan drama, the accusations of racism and outdated attitudes. And he said, enough. He's not just being demanding with his staff, he's being demanding with the entire royal institution. He's demanding that they evolve, that they modernize, that they actually do something meaningful instead of just existing as expensive figureheads. Bax confirmed William's aims. He's a man on a mission. He's asking us to change and evolve in a way to deliver positive impact at scale and at pace. At scale and at pace. Those aren't royal words, those are business words. Corporate transformation words. William is applying modern organizational change management to a 1,000-year-old monarchy, and he's not being subtle about it. The verdict. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're witnessing isn't just a demanding boss shaking things up behind the scenes. This is the most significant royal revolution since his mother tried to modernize the monarchy from the inside and was systematically destroyed for it. But William learned from Diana's mistakes. He's not fighting the institution, he is the institution. He's not demanding change as an outsider, he's demanding it as the future king. And the most brilliant part? He's making everyone think it was their idea. The staff think they're praising him for being ambitious. The media thinks they're covering his modernization efforts. The public thinks they're witnessing authentic evolution. But what's really happening is a complete hostile takeover of the British monarchy, executed with the precision of a military operation and the charm of a man who learned media manipulation from the best and worst examples in royal history. Prince William isn't just demanding, he's ruthless, he's strategic, and he's already won. The revolution isn't coming, it's already here. And the most beautiful part? The royal family can't stop it because the revolutionary is the royal family. Game, set, crown. Set, crown. Set,